So let's get started, shall we? Let me show you my screen. Do let me know if you can see my screen. People can speak in chat, no problem at all. Yes, finally. Thank you so much, Binoy. So, the session is all about bypassing bug bounty hurdles. So, generally, it is all about bypassing those hurdles that are popping up again and again and again, and how you are able to, bypass them, simply speaking. A very small introduction about me, if I have to put it in a way, then just a minute. Okay. So I'm a security engineer and a secure coder. I work in a banking domain. Apart from that, I'm also a fun-time bug bounty hunter, accidental content creator. I create memes and share meme kind of content, and also some knowledge based related to that. And I'm also a coach and not a teacher. And hello, am I audible? Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So I'm a coach. I'm not a teacher because of the fact that there are great teachers and great mentors on in the market. I cannot take time to become and teach and do all those stuff. I'm just a coach. Wherever you get stuck, I help you out in programming, in security section, in Java, in Python, anything as such. You ping me, I'll be there to help you out. Okay. So let's get started with today's content. The content will be about what bug bounty engagements are, what is a VDP, RDP, and bug bounty hunting, what are the big nightmares that generally pops up for developers that you as a bug bounty hunter should find, and some of you will know about what are the nightmares that comes up. Some of you might not know about it. Okay. So the three hurdles, I would say there are four hurdles, but generally the three hurdles that comes up to any bug bounty hunter who is getting started, or who is even in the field, who gets stuck and is not able to see as to what to do and what not to do. After that, then let's get to know about what burnouts comes up to you. Generally, everyone gets stressed, everyone gets tired, and we are not able to do what to do, and we are just burned out completely. So there are some personal my tips that I generally follow, which are pretty good, pretty amazing, pretty simple, very simple, and most of the people are not following it. And the last one is the conclusions, which is just a thought process of what I generally think of with respect to bug bounty hunting or ethical hacking or pen testing or offensive security, anything as such. Okay. So let's dig dive into it. So bug bounty hunting, in the most shortest way possible, if I have to explain it to you, then it's finding security issues ethically within an engagement and telling it to the respective organization. That is what bug bounty hunting is. If you have seen a movie known as Django, you might have seen a person who was a bounty hunter who, generally bought Django Unchained, if you have seen it. So he bought Django, and then he set him free after buying him and told him to be also a bounty hunter. So bounty hunters are generally those people who used to kill a good amount of people who were you don't have to kill, okay, good amount of people, those who are wanted, those who are needed by they were like dead or alive, anything kind of a stuff, and you had to find those people and you have to kill them, or you don't have to kill them, you just have to give those people back to the law enforcement. And that's how the bounty hunters kind of a thing started. Bug bounty hunting is about finding bugs, flaws, issues, vulnerabilities in the system, software systems or hardware system in any way, within the computer science or around the computer science domain. Okay. So there are three engagements generally. One is VDP, which is vulnerability disclosure programs. One is RDP, which is a responsible disclosure program. And the third one is the bug bounty programs. So these are not, I won't say these are completely different. These all three are interlinked. But the best part is the VDPs that are here and the RDPs and the bug bounty hunting have slight differences that makes them different, personally speaking. Okay. Also, anyone can become a bug bounty hunter. If you are getting started today, also you can become a great bug bounty hunter. Apart from that, if you are new to bug bounty hunting, I would definitely tell you that this slide will be helpful for you, because, and as well as if the people who have joined in, I'll be sharing you some my personal stuff that I follow while doing bug bounty hunting. Okay. And anyone can become bug bounty hunter, but not everyone will be able to, find good bugs in the field of bug bounty hunting. Most of the people find it some unnecessary stuff and say that it's a bug, but actually it's not a bug and all those things, and they fight and do all those stuff. So let's get into it as to what more things, what bug bounty hunting is not. Okay. Bug bounty hunting is not about a quick way to earn money. It is not at all. Okay. It is not about finding anything and telling it that it's a bug and it is some a glitch that it should be shared with the people. Nothing as such. Okay. It is not about telling the triager, means the person, triager is a, by the way, the triager is a person who collects your information, whatever you submitted as a report, and then he accepts it or rejects it depending upon the severity or the clarity of the findings that you share. Okay. And the last one is, you, let's suppose you found a robots.txt file or blank http pingback while testing for server-side request forgery, and you were not able to find any kind of asset or anything as such, but you did share it that yes, you found something. So that is also not a bug. That is simply, what you say, a finding that is informative. So these kind of things that you are thinking of, that bug bounty hunting is a quick way to earn money, it's not. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of perseverance for a normal person. If you are abnormal, or I would say if you are next level personality, then this might be a trigger for you and you can earn better than me or anyone else. But apart from that, bug bounty hunting is quite tough to do it because there are a lot of people who are doing it. So it's a crowdsource kind of a thing. And this is what bug bounty hunting is. And these are the things that are, that doesn't define what bug bounty hunting is not. Okay. That defines it, what bug bounty hunting is not. Okay. So the difference, very simple difference, I would say. Let's suppose you have Wikipedia, or let's suppose you have Google, or let's suppose you have any target, favorite targets. Okay. So within your target part, you see that Wikipedia, within the Wikipedia or around Wikipedia, you see there are a lot of domains that comes up. But Wikipedia has a disclosure program. Now, those disclosure programs are governed under a security team. Vulnerability disclosure program, straightforward, is about finding any kind of flaws ethically. Security flaws, do remember security flaws, and you are paid either with monetary bounties or swags depending upon what they decide, what the team, security team decides. Okay, with respect to your findings. Responsible disclosure programs are fixed set, means they have an autoscope section, they have an in-scope section, and they have the best part is they have the set target as to what are they are going to pay to you. Set rewards, I would say, not set targets, set rewards. It can be monetary, it can be platform based swags, it can be some kind of vouchers, anything as such. So there are, these are the things that encompasses in responsible disclosure program. Bug bounty programs is straightforward, those programs that are generally related with monetary rewards. You get bounties in the face of money. You get, you sometimes, if you have good reputation point over different platforms, you get swags of that platforms, anything as such. So this is a very basic difference that you get. Okay, finding the flaw ethically and just submitting it. And if the monetary bounties or swags are dicey, that is a VDP. If it is not IC, then it is RDP. And if it is completely monetary based, it's a bug bounty program. So many a times a bug bounty program can be taken as a VDP, means vulnerability disclosure program. Hope this helps. If it is clear, then it's great. Do let me know in the chat if it is clear to you. I think it might be. Yeah. Okay, so what are the nightmares of the developers? Okay, this is a very big thing. What happens is programs or codes are nothing but have been developed by humans. For sure, there are artificial intelligence bots and all those things that I've been dealing with, that we are coming up in the upcoming times and all those stuff. But still, the codes are being prepared by humans. if the code is being prepared by humans, there will be issues, there will be flaws, there will be vulnerabilities, and you have to see a lot of things around it. You might be knowing about plain text passwords storage. Okay, when how these passwords are being stored and not sent. By the way, I'm do let me know that I'm do just make yourself clear that I'm talking about the password storage things, the passwords that are being sent, that are not being sent but are being stored in a storage. Let's suppose any kind of database. Okay, if it is stored in a text way, then it's an issue, and you might be knowing about it. Okay, then there are a lot of times when an organization is what you say secured through SSOs or IAM kind of authorization kind of a thing, but those people who are logging in have very weak credentials. Let's suppose they only have, let's suppose my name is infosec researcher, so I write it infosec researcher 10 at the rate WHLSTI, anything as such. Okay, and I just put it in. So this is a very vague way of creating a password. Okay, this is one of the weakest way. For some strong password, I would say that within your letters of the password that you're putting in, capital, small, everything, put a dot, put a comma within it, or put a special character within it, so that you can either you can learn it or you can just save it in any way. Okay. Now the third one is depending excessively on the client side. Now, as a bug bounty hunter, do remember that the client side, like excessively, those client side kind of a thing, like the issues and vulnerabilities that you're finding, the things, and generally bug bounty hunters think in that way. Okay. Bug bounty hunters think like, okay, the issue is with respect to client side. You were able to enumerate a target, you found out a section where you can reflect a target, or you can inject a target in any way, and you can see that those client side kind of a thing from your end is being triggered. But when you try to what do you say interject, or I would say within using a web proxy, let's suppose Burp Suite or anything as such, you see that through your client side, the payload is being triggered, but payload is being injected, but it is not being triggered in the SSRF, or during SSRF, or during injection attack, or any server kind of issues. It generally happens. So this is something that will always come up, and you have to be very much careful about finding, just being casually about finding client side issues, because a lot of times, do like in front of client side you might see that it gets triggered, but in server side it doesn't. Okay, the fourth part is insecure data handling. It is about how a data is being transferred from one position to another, which is sending the data that you see in clear text part, text phrase, such as using burp suite or using zap or anything as such, or using ptk. And then file inclusion kind of a thing, especially remote file inclusions, that generally comes up, that pops up. Okay, you might know about it, but what you might not know about with respect to the developer's point of view is how the invalidated data, which has, or any data that is not been validated before, is being permitted to enter the database. Let's suppose you are testing for SQL injection, and you are not going with SQL map and just triggering it step by step, just triggering it from the tool, but rather you just see the database, and you saw that any entries that you are doing it, it is being accepted within the cache of the system, that you generally get it through browser. The moment you see that, you can see that there is an input of invalid data. And I'll share you how it happens. Okay. Do remember the first point. The second point is focusing on system as a whole. So generally, developers generally take database or system as a whole completely security, like after the security is taken up. Let's suppose they are developing it continuously from one section to next section to next section, section wise, and they are focusing completely on a system for security. Never to do that. So there are different kinds of, we all know about the OSI layer, right? So there is an application layer also, and there is a transport layer also, and there is a layer of data link layer also. We have to be very much careful about presentation layer, as well as the presentation layer, as well as the application layer, because client side might get triggered in application layer, but for what you say the server side, it generally gets triggered either in presentation layer or it gets triggered in transport layer, depending upon what kind of paradigm the application scanning takes up. Okay, so generally developers are taking the system, web application, APIs, Android, everything as a whole for security, and it should not be done in that way because it should be taken in a very segregated way. So web application to be taken in segregated way, mobile application as well as API to be taken in segregated way. But as a bug bounty hunter, if you want to hunt, you should definitely focus all of it in a segregated way. Okay. Third part, which is permitting variables via the URL path name. Suppose that you have a URL, okay, you injected the URL with all the payloads that you can find out, and you can see that the stored data type that you have put in is completely, or not the data type, I would say the stored payload that you have injected, it is completely being visible, and it is being triggered in the server side. That is something that developers are facing right now during the time of AI and LLM implementation. So if you are finding issues and vulnerabilities with respect to AI and LLM, I would definitely tell you to go forward with permitting variables and URL path name kind of issue, which is generally directory traversal in the AI LLM section. Okay. The fourth one is any kind of data which is being stored in the database which is unencrypted. A lot of times those are not hashed properly or not salted properly, and those data is being stored perfectly unhashed or unencrypted within a database. So once a database is compromised in any way, then the data is compromised and it is readily available to all the people. That's why recently you can see a company named Boat, their PII was leaked completely. The problem was their unencrypted, the data that is being stored was not salted or hashed properly. They were being directly stored as a SQL, as a table. They were being stored, which was ease for a developer, but a nightmare for any company if it gets leaked. And last one is the treating security as your last step. Most of the companies right now, they have started, but the developers have not started to work with the shift left paradigm. Let's suppose functionality is built around a product or within a product, then that functionality should be tested in a right manner. Most of the times they are not being tested properly because there are great testers around there, but most of the people or most of the testers don't have the security background. That is being a very much trigger, and all the blame comes up to the developer that he was not able to create the properly that application and all those things. So that is one of the last nightmares. There are 10 more, but I'm not going to share those 10 more here. That will be the black hat era. That will be a black hat next year. I'll be sharing it to the, what do you say, the people who will be there. So these are the 10 ones that you should be working on. These are the nightmares that you should always have within your mind to build the mindset. That's it. Now, what is the very first hurdle that comes up to you? The very first hurdle is what is or how to do a proper reconnaissance and enumeration. Reconnaissance is about finding and collecting the data. Enumeration is tabularizing the collected data. Okay. Now, even if after we have done the proper reconnaissance and enumeration, what should be the next thing what you should do? Okay, this is the second hurdle that comes up. Like I have yesterday I was having a call with one of my client, and he was saying, and that client was generally like you people only. He was asking for, like, we were having reconnaissance and enumeration done and everything I've done. I've collected the subdomains, I've collected the parameters and everything as such, but I'm not able to find what to do next. Okay, what to do the next ethical exploitation, which is the third part. Okay, and the fourth one is how what to find as a new bug bounty hunter or intermediate bug bounty hunter. What should be the next thing that I should be working on? Very first thing, proper reconnaissance requires basic time consumption. If you are not using VPS, that I generally don't use VPS. I do have VPS, but I generally don't do. I avoid it. Sometimes I do it because when I'm in quite a hurry, if I have to if I have to pen test any client or contract, okay, if client or any kind of contract that I'm dealing with, so I use VPS. So for proper reconnaissance, you start with finding the subdomains and domains around it. Okay, first thing, clear. Subdomains, domains found out, clear. You found out the parameters. Okay, but these all things will be step number one. Step number 0 will be just looking at the browser and seeing as to what the application is all about. Simple and not at all sophisticated. Okay. Second thing is about whatever you saw, you document it. Your documentation should be done. Third thing, this is the exploitation. Exploitation can be fuzzing, it can be manual payload injection, it can be apart from manual payloads. What else? What kind of more in deep dorking that you can do to find some critical or sensitive information disclosure, and what is the reporting that you should be doing? Okay, so these three hurdles that generally comes up to all the new bug bounty hunters. So this is the mind map that I generally follow for sensitive information disclosure, whether it's with respect to dorking, whether it's respect to anything as such. Okay. So if you can see the blue dot here, if you can see, do let me know chat if you can see a blue dot here of my pointer. So you can see that I was using Nikto. I was able to find out basic banner, but the critical information that I found out was with respect to the domains, the subdomains that is being present here, which are active in nature, which is very much important. Okay. The active ones as well as the passive ones, because for active ones, you can find a next set of vulnerabilities to do it. Let's suppose if you get active ones, you can find critical vulnerabilities of injection, SQL injection attacks, command injections, remote code execution, those kind of a thing. For passive ones or dead domains, you can go for domain takeover, for DNS what you say, sensitive information disclosure through DNS enumeration and all those kind of things. These all things I was able to find out just by a proper browser enumeration. That's it, nothing else. First, I did the browser enumeration, then I fired Nikto, and through Nikto, I found out information related to the certificate that is being used generally, because a lot of critical certificates can tell you about what is the domain and what are the domains that is being expired with respect to the DMARC records or SPF records. Okay. DM, by the way, the email enumeration is not only the SPF or DMARC record. There are more things situated with it with respect to DMARC records. Generally, people think that email triggering, rate limiting is the only vulnerability kind of a thing that we should submit, which is not. That is not the only thing that you should be doing. What you should be dealing with is you should be working with respect to the certificates and see what are the hyperlinks or what are the domains that are expiring. The moment it gets what you say expire, let me share you a tip. It takes around 2 to 3 days to renew those certificates if the organization is quite lazy. If the organization is good with the security posture, then they completely recertify them with the SSL version and all those things within a day. So you have to be quite careful with respect to finding the nearby dead targets if you have to. Okay. After enumeration, I generally go for the wikipedia.org and I just start for basic subdomain enumeration, nothing else. Now the question is, many a times I see or I have heard that a lot of times that rate limit is being implemented in the application, but I cannot see it. Now while you search, like this is, if you can see, this is an example of dir search. I ran the dir search, and you see that the after a certain endpoint there was a break, and then it gets to started for 429 security code. 429 security code, by the way, it's about too many requests, and that is the section where the trigger gets alerted. Another tip for you, the number of enumeration that is being done, let's suppose it's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19. So 18 requests when I submitted to, let's suppose, wikipedia.com, it triggered the rate limit here. So what you can do is add in rate limit, what you say, modifier if possible, or a flag within, if you're using dir search or if you're using burp suite, anything as such, and you can add it here. And let's suppose that rate limit is set for 1 second per request. You go for 3 seconds per request. It's going to take some time for enumeration. It is going to take some time to collect those domains and come up with it, but actually it is going to give you more of the results, if I have to say. Okay. So the very first thing, again, recapitulating, it's about browser, content look, banner types, supports, and endpoints. Then you go for proper enumeration using Subfinder, Katana, HTTPX, Nuclei custom templates, any kind of fuzzer, FFUF you want to use, you can use it. No problem at all. The next one is fuzzing the dir search and then going for dir buster and anything as such for manual endpoint enumeration. And finally is the exploitation part, which is finding the sensitive and critical information that gets leaked, which is not here, which is generally triggering an API. This API, if ran in a Postman, is going to give sensitive information disclosure. That I generally found out last night. Okay. Next, what are the tools that I generally use, which are present in front of you? I generally use custom scripts. I use PTK. I use Burp Suite. I use Zap. I use XDR. XDR means uh, say the endpoint detection and response kind of a thing. I use FUF, Nikto, Nessus, OpenBAS, checkmarks for SAST, Invicti for DAST. I generally use it. Okay. Now, what are the bugs that you should be working on right now? I would definitely tell you to go for the bugs with respect to AI and LLM vulnerabilities. The first one, which is excessive agency issue that generally comes up. The second one is vector and embedding weaknesses, which is an AI LLM top based vulnerability. And the third one is in misinformation. So these bugs that you should generally find in the AI and LLM based vulnerability, what do you say, engagement. Okay. The next one is if you find IDOS in any way in secure direct object referencing, you should now then face that IDOS skill, numeral or anything, with respect to BOLA in APIs. Now, most of the applications that are being presented in front of you or the application that is being shared in front of you, let's suppose, let me share it to you. Let me show you my screen if possible. No, not this one. Wait, let me show you my screen. Okay, here it is. So you can see that I generally saw Wikipedia as a target because I was quite bored yesterday night, and I saw it in a very best way possible, if I have to say. And then I found out that there were not only the English domains, but there are Russian domains, then there are France or French domains. There are a lot of domains that are here present. Okay. So what I did generally was to give a very brief enumeration, very brief Nikto enumeration, where I was able to find out that this IP 49.43.26.105 is being issued as a privately IP address, which was disclosed around Portsugar, which was the fun part because this shows that Portsugar might have some or the other way have disclosed any report with respect to Wikipedia. So what is the next thing I did was to go Portsugar and dig it up and all those things I found out. But it was quite unnecessary to do it. But still I did it because just to be, validated about it. I also saw that there is a server which is using a wildcard certificate. We can see, okay, wildcard certificate, complete wildcard certificate. Now, wildcard certificates are those certificates which are generally used by the domains. And as a bug bounty hunter, you should learn about those wildcard certificates. Basically, it is going to help you in uncovering those tracks which are being hidden by the developers. This will help you in finding those issues again. So what next I did was to find, so the Nikto generally found, I didn't do much. Nikto found out for me was the CSPs, which was the CSP that is being used. And after that, I was able to share about the banner around this application. And what was the end time that it took to give me a scan? It took me around 3968 seconds. That much amount of time it took to, like, generally scan me completely this certification, this what do you say, this domain. So what I did was, after doing this complete Wikipedia stuff, what I did was generally go to my subfinder because that's my favorite tool to get subdomain enumeration. And after that, I saw that there are, after 18 jumps of 403, after 18 jumps, I was able to see that I was able to very first find out the domain that was generally being used, which was zh.min.nan.wikipedia.org. And then with respect to that domain, I found out the breakpoint, which was this. After 21 requests, it is going to give a rate limit trigger. So this, after this trigger, what I did was I fired up my PTK. I went to my browser. I went to my PTK. Just a minute. Went to my PTK dashboard. I reloaded this thing, and I was able to see what are the issues and vulnerabilities that are popping up. It told that there are HSTS, there is HTTP2, there is a content type policy and all those things. By the way, this tool is completely free. You can go download it for free. You can use it in your extension. Everything is present. As far as DAST is applied, there were 8 low vulnerabilities, but it was generally the missing content security policy, which was generally with respect to the security headers that you should do. Okay. Went with the proxy and found out that there were these many endpoints that were popping up with respect to Russia, because that's what we generally did right now. And before that, I was dealing with what do you say, French one, because they are quite not adamant, they are very much cool with that. Okay. So after this enumeration, I was able to find out some basic ICOs and basic loader.php kind of extensions. What I had to do is, you see this images, or you see the one of the tips that I'll be sharing it with you right now, okay, is you see this icons, right? This is the first point that you should take right now. Developers are generally putting any kind of whitelisting or any anti-fuzz or any kind of thing, those kind of things at the last of the endpoint. And plus, endpoint detection tools are generally finding these things. What you have to do is find those things within these. Whenever you're fuzzing, find it within these parameters. After this, I was able to find out within the, what do you say, within the terminal, this endpoint of assertion. That is PTK. That extension is known as PTK, penetration testing toolkit. Okay, you can go to Chrome or you can go to Firefox. I generally use Firefox. You can go to that and you can download that PTK. Okay. And apart from that, if you have to screenshot, I'll share it with you also, those toolkits. In fact, I'll share it within the chat after the talk, the some of my personal methodologies that I follow of different people, which are publicly available, but most of the people are not putting that much attention to it. Now, after finding that thing, the biggest, after finding this endpoint of wellorganization.org, okay, I found out that there are certain Apple based activities that are popping up again and again. I fire up the debugging tool. Okay, there is the network tab. Okay, and within that I found out uh, yeah, I found out that there were some API endpoints such as intake.log.wikimedia.org, this one, which is a complete API. And this API was streaming the report that you see this thing, this complete association, okay, with in any way. The problem is this page is not a vulnerability, but this endpoint that is being triggered here, if you copy it and you paste it over your what do you say, if you paste it over your Postman or Insomnia or wherever you have to, it will directly tell you completely about the, I would say, what do you say, a complete in endpoints, as well as not only just endpoints, the PIIs, and a lot of more information that should not be triggered. I cannot say it in this live because it has not yet been passed, but once it is done, I'll share it over a write-up. Okay, and once it, so it gives a network error kind of a thing. You just remove the network error, you just put in the payload that I personally used, and then I pushed it over Postman and I connected it with my Zap Z attack proxy, and then I intercepted it in such that over a particular response and changed the response to 200, and I was able to find out a critical vulnerability of PII leak of different domains that are hidden simply. So Generally web developers or mobile application people, they think that their application is secured in any way, but at the end, and their APIs are not being leaked anyway, but APIs in any basic enumeration, it is going to get leaked, because that is an inherent nature of APIs, that most of the people cannot see it, if and only if they are not using right security headers. Okay. After that, it got I yesterday night only I have submitted it, so let's see how it goes. Okay. uh, so for the what you say, what you told for the vulnerabilities, correct? Wait, just a minute. So so these are the tools that I generally use. It's the PTK, means penetration testing toolkit, then it's burp suite, zap, XDRs, and all those things. If you want to take a screenshot, take a screenshot and do let me know about it. Okay. Then the next thing is dealing with the IDOS is a very big thing, Bola and all those things. For the injection attack, now if you are a very good, if you are good with, or you want to find injection kind of vulnerabilities, injection attacks kind of a things, never now in 2024 or 2025 upcoming, never ever try to make JavaScript straight from the code. Just don't do that thing. That is a stupidity. That is going to trigger a thing which is known as not only rate limit, but it is also going to trigger a firewall, and it is going to put in an encode there and then, such not encode, a firewall restriction such that you're not able to bypass it, simply speaking. That happens. And you will be thinking of, as I tried my injection attack but it didn't work out. Okay, so can you please again, I'll explain it to you, Vivek, don't worry. After the completion, I'll explain it to you in the chat, don't worry. I'll share it. Okay, I'll share my POV. Okay, so start to work not to break the JavaScript at first, but rather redirect that thing, or see where the redirection goes. Okay, and then try to break it. Okay, so the redirected tier 3 means up to the tier third or third level domains. If it goes, that is the point where you have to break the JavaScript. There, that is the point where you have to use the injection attack, SQL, what you say, NoSQL injection, or command injection, or cross-site scripting, any kind of payload that you want to use it. Okay, that is a very cool tip that I'm giving you right now, because most of the people just ignore it. Okay, completely ignore it. Okay? The fourth one, which is never to use SQL queries or SQL, what you say, let's suppose SQL map kind of a tool directly over when you found out that there is a select ID or ID equals to kind of a parameter. Never to do that. Never do that. That is going to break your complete trust over finding SQL injection. That will be like, damn, bro, this is something which I cannot find. That person was able to find out. How am I not able to? The problem, however, is DB enumeration, database enumeration, is completely based on how good you are with respect to GitHub enumeration, how good you are with Shodan enumeration, and how good you are with Google enumeration. That's it. Other than that, until and unless it's a white box or gray box, you're not able to find any kind of version or enumeration. Until and unless it is not SSRF, um, what do you say, SSRF kind of a thing. If it is not being triggered, if SSRF is being triggered, there are chances you can get database enumeration. Apart from that, you cannot. Okay, so research different combination types also of queries. Many a times I've seen select star from query where table drop the table, and those, there is a certain way of database of how it works. Learn very basic about how DDL and DML is working. DDL kind of a database and DML kind of a query that you are sending. See that how it works. You have to get deeper in that. Okay. And the last one is RCEs, which is remote code executions, are everywhere to find out. In every system you can find it at every place. Exploit, you cannot exploit at all the places. You can see that yes, there are sections that you can find remote code execution, and if you put the payload, you get the remote code execution, but at the end it doesn't work it, and you'll be like, damn, why it is not working out? Because there are certain ports, there are certain service numbers, there are certain things that will help you get the remote code execution endpoint, but you'll never be able to get as to how to exploit it, because of the fact that it's not directly linked with client side, but it is purely linked with server side. Okay, so just a very small hack, use Shodan. Shodan is one of the great tools that you can find for your port and all those things. Apart from Shodan, if you want to use for database enumeration, I would tell you definitely go for GitHub or GitLab if you can. Okay. Or sometimes you can go for Firebase also. Firebase is a cool place where you can get a great amount of database available, because a lot of times they are using Firebase in some or the other way. So you can go check it out that place also. Generally what happens is, after finding these bugs or during the process of these bugs, you get burnout. Okay. And you will get burned out. I also got burned out when I started doing bug bounty hunting, and it was painful, very much painful. So much that I was not able to think. I was not able to even. I failed in an examination because of a bug bounty hunting exercise that I was doing. Okay, so I failed in that. After that, I was able to pass. That's a different thing. But burnout is a true thing, man, and you have to you have to take it very much seriously. The very first step is take your night sleep. People, when people said that early to bed and early to rise, take it seriously, because that is going to make sure that your brain is open in the morning, because that's how so you can reprogram your brain. That is a different thing. But sleep is very much, it should be done. It should be a part of it. I generally sleep by 11:30, 12. I am trying to sleep by 11:30 or 10. It generally go by 12:30 also, but I sleep and I wake up early, because waking up early is making me fresher every single moment. And start of the day is all about reading some small stuff and then getting completely over this bug bounty hunting thing. Okay. So after reading the stuff, after reading my journal and all those things, medium stuff, I go for straight directly towards the target that yesterday night I have reckoned about, and then I go for exploitation. The second thing is, if you're a full-time bug bounty hunter, or if you're doing bug bounty hunting as a student or anything as such, go by 8:8:8 or 8:8:8 division. 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of everyday work, and 8 hours of bug bounty hunting. Simple. So 8 hours of everyday work includes 8 hours of study plus 8 hours of your so-called me time, your personal time. Okay. And take 8 hours of sleep very seriously. Take it right now. A lot of people will be doing a lot of things. A lot of people will be sharing a lot of things. Just don't compare yourself with them. That is a very last point. But I'm telling you, just you might get dopamine hits of Instagram, you might get dopamine hits of anything else. Just don't do it. Okay. In your meeting part, it's going to be very much problematic. Okay. The third part, which is most important, which is, it's okay to get duplicate vulnerabilities. It's okay. Yesterday night, I got 18, no, I got 23 duplicates. 23 duplicates. This month, my duplicate went to 79. Seriously talking about, okay? The problem, however, was not with respect to getting duplicates or NAs, because what I did was, I collected some of the duplicates and NAs and made sure that it goes under a CVE. So I fired a CVE. So around, I was able to fire 8 CVEs yesterday night. Why? Because I found those duplicates and NAs kind of a thing within a system, within a product vulnerability. So that duplicate and NA will now be very much helpful in my resume, sharing that yes, I had found the vulnerability, even if it was duplicate, but it was critical in nature, and a CVE was assigned to it. So that kind of a thing, you should do it if you get a duplicate or NA. And next thing, what you should do is go for the next target. Just go for next target. You have a lot of targets there. Just go for next targets. And if you are a person who finds just one vulnerability, or if you're getting started as a bug bounty hunter, learning one vulnerability and going to one target, I would suggest you go to multiple targets and try that one vulnerability that you have learned that day. That in that way, for just for 30 days, or just for 30 days, not more than that. After that, you can change whatsoever you want to do it. That is going to help you build a strong foundation about that vulnerability that you've learned. Let's suppose it, if it is sensitive information disclosure, your reconnaissance kind of a thing will be go to next level. Okay. So take next target if you find a single kind of vulnerability, or if you are good with finding vulnerabilities, go for a bunch of vulnerability over a single target for months if it takes. You can use automation. There is nothing known as cheating kind of a thing. You only cheat the system, and you can do it if you want to grow. You have to do it. You want to grow. Okay. So the fourth point is, take 20 minutes of that I generally do is take 20 minutes of break after 60 minutes of bug hunting. Whatever I'm doing, even bug hunting or anything as such, I take 20 minutes of break. I had to take it. I talk with people, I drink water. I don't use screen at that time. I talk with people, I go for a walk, anything as such. After a 60 minute of hunting. So you can try that. Have a bottle of water always with yourself. And within this 20 minute of break, drink as many water, as much water as possible. Okay. It helps you. And I'm telling you, it seriously helps you, man. Because you have no idea during burnout, you might think that you are sitting in a very cool room, having, fan is there. It's okay. You are hydrating over next level because your brain is functioning to that level. Okay. So have a bottle of water. And the last point, never, ever, ever, ever to compare your findings with any other researchers, any other security person. Never to do that. Okay? Never to do that, because the moment you do it, the moment you start to do it, your decline will start. Never compare your research, never compare your findings with any other person. If a person is able to find a bounty of $250 or $1,000 or $10,000, it's good. It's their hard work, man. You have no idea how much time they have invested in it, right? You have no idea how much they have been invested in that particular target. It can be months, it can be year, it can be weeks, months, a lot of time. You have no idea about it. But what you should be doing is constantly work on yourself. If that person find out, what you can do as a bug bounty hunter, I'll tell you, or you are getting started it. Anyone who find issues, anyone who find vulnerabilities, tell them congratulations, and tell them when is the write up. Tell the write up when the write up is coming. Why? Because if they are not able to deliver a write up within a month or 2 months, there are heavy chances, not all, but heavy chances that they have found out through a very regressive or a very fuzz kind of a, what do you say, kind of a vulnerability findings. Because a good security researcher, me, you, anyone in this world who are getting started also, will always document its journey of finding any issue or vulnerability. Okay. So whatever the findings are, report it, and after ethically reporting it, when it is disclosed, share the write-up so that the community will be very much helped by your findings. Okay. And the very last thing of about the conclusion is, whatever you are dealing with people and everything as such, everything what you are learning right now is completely free. We are living in a we are currently we are living at a point where everything that we learn is free. We can learn anything that we want to learn. It's completely free. You have to research a lot, and you need to develop that skill of researching. If you're a security researcher, a bug bounty hunter, a pen tester, you need to build that skill of finding the issues and vulnerabilities in it. Because the moment you start to find it, the moment you start to build that skill, that is the point of your success to get, in the upward direction. You don't compare, but you research. That is the best thing what you can do. Okay. So the thing is, everything that you learn is available completely free, but are you passionate enough to research about it completely or not? Okay. So let's suppose that you go, let's just a minute. Uh, let's suppose that we found out this endpoint, okay, and we were able to see that there were this API. That API was going for, what did it said? It said that I cannot get the V1 events and all those things. But I did the enumeration and I was able to find out that it was not a get. Even if I put in a post method and I changed the events to something that I was working on, I was able to find out some critical information around it. I was able to find out who has created the page, when was created the page, and not only that much amount of it, which device they were using it. And through that, I was able to also uh, submit that metadata was not being stripped under this page. So they are now processing it. So you have to dig deeper also. Okay. And this dig deeper kind of a thing will come up only if you know how to research about it. Okay. So let's suppose you fire up a PTK, you just reload it, and you see that within the PTK you can see that there are XSS protection is deprecated and X-frame option is not available. Okay, so you can either go for clickjacking kind of a vulnerability, which is not going to pay you anything, or you can go for stored cross-site. So the moment you see that there is no there is a depreciation of XSS header, straightforward go for stored cross-site scripting. Simple. But you have to try to go for doing cross-site scripting directly only and only in one way, and that is you need to understand that the vulnerability which we were dealing with, which is stored cross-site scripting, is you need to find out any parameter within this domain, which is intake dash logging dash this one, through the API enumeration, sorry, through the API enumeration, and then you have to embed that, what you say, that stored payload, and then only you can trigger it over Postman, you can trigger it over Insomnia, whatsoever tool you're using. And through that, you'll be able to find out issues and vulnerabilities. Okay. This is a very important and critical thing that you should be dealing with, or you should be working on. Research skill. It's the greatest skill that you can ever embark. Okay. And just to what you say, these are the nightmares. If you want to click screenshot anything as such, you do it. I'll share the PPT. Don't worry for that. Uh, just to revise it again, this is the endpoint. This is the critical endpoint. The moment when 429 kind of error, you can see it within an enumeration, you can say that yes, this is the breakpoint, and you can count above it. This is a very hack, I would say. You can count above the number of iterations that have come up as to what was total number of limits that was sent within 1 second, and what was the breakpoint. Let's suppose here was 18, so 18 was the breakpoint. So after 18 second, there was a trigger of a rate limit, anything as such. And next was about, this is with respect to sensitive information disclosure and whenever you're fuzzing it in any part. Okay. Other than that, these are the tools. If you have taken the picture, then great. And let's go for the questions that have come up in the chat, which is, sir, can you please again tell me about icons thing? Icons thing. Can you, icons thing? What was the icons thing? Acha, okay. The API icons. Okay, okay. Just a minute. Okay. So, okay. You see that there is a favicon.ico. Okay. This favicon.ico is nothing but an icon, right? The Wikipedia W icon. The problem, however, is not with the icon it is being called out, but it is with respect to how it is being called out. As a bug bounty hunter, you should know about how it is being called out. The moment you see how it is being called out, you just copy paste it. uh, I generally go with the API security, API pen testing. So what I did, just copy paste it over the Postman and see what are the sensitive information it is coming up. I have a Postman fired up in the background, but I cannot share it because that's a POC and I've shared it, but it is still a undisclosed report. Once it is done, I'll definitely share it with you all. Okay, that's not a problem. Okay, and the very last thing what you should be dealing with, I would say, is wait a minute. Okay, my mouse was not working. Now it is working. Okay. So the very last thing what you should be dealing with is working with as much AI based, LLM based vulnerabilities as possible, because these kind of vulnerabilities are flooding in the market. Okay. And they're getting the real people who are finding out, they are not telling people that these vulnerabilities are showing up in any way. Okay. If you're able to find it, you're getting great amount of bug bounties. You go to Bugcrowd, you go to HackerOne, you go to Integrity, any place where OpenAI or any AI-based application is there, start doing or start finding bugs in AI-based application, and there you'll find out what kind of jerk work that they are doing, the developers are doing. Okay, so go find it out. That's going to be very critical. And that's it from my end, nothing else. These are my connect areas. You can go to my beacons. It's completely free of cost. Okay, beacons.ai area is a place where you can uh, get the resources that I generally work on. You can get 1400 plus HackerOne reports, disclosed one, free of cost. You can learn it for free. You can go to topmate.io. You can connect for the coach and anything as such. Everything else is here. Everything here is perfectly shared to you in the chat. I'll be sharing right now my personal the things that I am generally following up. Okay, which is there are two repositories that I'm generally following. One is where is Teams? One is this one. Another is this one. Okay, I've shared it to you. And another one that I recently stumbled upon it, which is actually good, is this one. So I generally go with the ARWAD, means it is by Ahmed Halabi. So Ahmed Halabi is a great is a great bug bounty hunter, earning pretty huge in bug bounty domain and also training. And plus there is he's working in RE security also. So he has created a great domain. If I have to open it, let me open it and share it to you. I have to say, it's a complete roadmap about who is DNS information, allocation, active, using AMRs, manual searching, how to use Nuclei project, then using extensions, using grep, using extracting URLs, everything. What you should be doing one by one, step by step. Even if you're a new bug bounty hunter, even if you are getting started in reconnaissance part, this will push you a lot. Okay. So I've shared it in the chat. You can see it. Check it out. Okay. And I think that will sum up my researches and findings, I would say. Okay. And just to share one more things, which is LLM based vulnerability. These are the LLM based vulnerabilities that you should be working on. Okay. So that's all from my end. Thank you so much for connecting with me. Thank you, Hack the Box Kerala, for inviting me. I hope I can only hope only because at the end it's your comprehension kind of a thing that if you were able to process this complete thing or not, if this all went cool, you felt it like this is something which was great and happy and all those things. So it's your thing. So thank you so much, Hack the Box Kerala. Thank you for inviting me. And I
Yeah,
would say thank you for everything. Thank you so much, Ashik.
yeah. Thank you, Fardeen, for the fantastic session. The tips on the work bounty handling were really helpful, and we appreciate the time you taken for the session. And it's a great session. Thank you once again. Yeah. So anyone have any doubts? Please, please put in the chat. We have
Yeah,
five
yeah,
five
yeah.
minutes. Yeah, you can
Yeah,
discuss.
you can put it anytime you want. Yeah, just put it. Sir, can we okay. You can ask any question that you want to. So what was the tip about not to do direct injections? Okay. Vivek, the thing was, suppose that there is a vulnerability. Let's suppose you are working for cross-site scripting issue. Okay. So generally what happens is that you get a parameter equals to, let's suppose, and you start to fuzz it. Okay. Never to do that now, because every endpoint detection or any SIEM solution can trigger the alarm, and IDS or IPS that is being set up is going to put your request to be completely blacklisted in every way. Okay. What you have to do is, you see every what do you say, any kind of pop-up, or not pop-up, any kind of let me share it to you as to how it is to be done. That will be much more easier to you. Let's suppose uh, okay, I'm not telling you in the exact way, but I'm just telling you in a way. Okay. So you see that there is a URL equals to parameter. Okay. So I'm explaining it to you in such a way that never to directly, put, the on mouse over payload or anything as such. Just never to do that. Okay. Never to do that. What you have to do is just reload this website. You see that there is an extension here which is redirecting it. Okay. Go to that redirected portal, go to that redirected domain, and on that domain, that particular domain, try to do the JavaScript break. Means try to do the payload work, which is finding cross-site scripting. That is the point that is going to help you, Vivek. Never to start finding cross-site scripting in the main domain. Always to find the level 3 domains or level 4 domains. There you will get a trigger. Okay. There you'll get the what you say, indirect injections, not direct injections. Hope this helps. Suggest some more bug bounty platforms. Harita, I would heavily tell you to go for yes. If you know Yes We Hack, then good. If you know Zero Copter, that is also a good one. I think Zero Copter. That is also a good one. Decline the cookies. Apart from that, you can go for Yogosha. If it is Yogosha, generally invite based, I guess, not Yogosha then. Go for Yes We Hack. That's one of the best ones. Okay. Apart from Yes We Hack, you can go for Japanese bug bounty program also, bug bounty platform also. I don't know the name, but it's a great one. Yeah, Issue Hunt. This is also a great one. You sign up as a researcher, you found out, and you'll be getting money in the field of yen, if I have to say. But you get pretty good amount of, like, good amount, so much good that it gets resonated with the findings of as a dollar if you have to compare it. Okay, so that will help. These three are good ones, but let's all depends upon you. Other than that, hope this helps. These three are the best platforms that will help you get good bounties. So now shall we at is it as proof? I didn't get you, Vaishnav. Okay. Next question. Can we get a recording of the session? All depends upon Hack the Box Kerala. Do we have to master in a single attack hunt based on it, or how do you approach target on starting? I shared it to you how this is the way how I generally go forward with, or with respect to what I am personally doing is just a minute. What I am personally doing is working with what you say, doing a basic nicto enumeration, then going forward with subdomain enumeration, then going forward. Nicto enumeration only if to get the banners. Banners a lot of times, like 80 to 90% time, they leak great amount of what you say information. So after grabbing those information, I go for subdomain enumeration and check if this banner versus with this domain enumeration is working in the same way or not. If it is not, then I just leave it. I don't work in depth. If it worked out, then I go for fuzzing it, and after fuzzing it, I go for browser again to go for manual exploitation through what do you say, through browser only. If I'm not able to find anything with respect to browser, then I go forward with a heavy what do you say, heavy fuzzing, not fuzzing, heavy manual pen testing through response manipulation and all those things through what do you say, burp suite. That's how I generally move forward with it. Other than that, nothing as such. What is favicon hash and how it helps in bug hunting? Okay, favicon hash helps you. Okay, let me tell you straightforward as to how it helps. Okay, favicon hash generally are being stored at the places where normal hashes are being mapped to. So if you're able to get the mapped information through favicon hash, that is going to give you a path about where other hashes are also present. Generally, developers are trying their level best to whitelist, or I would say restrict those domains, or I would say those endpoints are being set up with redirection, permanent redirection. But you can work with what you say, response manipulation, and you can get the favicon hashes. It always helps in bug hunting because it chains the path. That's it. Nothing more it helps you in. Just like I was able to find out an API endpoint which is not working with the get, but generally I copy it, paste it in Postman, and it worked pretty fine. But I had to do some manipulation of payloads, and that's how it was able to trigger. I think that's all. So now I am new to this field. I college student, did 4 to 5 vulnerability in Portugal, but go blank when I test for real website. Why? Because you are doing either there are two reasons. There are two reasons. Either you have practiced very less, because 4 to 5 vulnerabilities in Portugal labs, it's pretty good. But actually, take Portugal labs as a day-to-day thing. If you're getting started, day-to-day thing means keep it in your routine. It is going to be very much helpful, and I'm telling you, it is going to be very much helpful to learn the vulnerabilities. See how those vulnerabilities are popping up. Okay, see those vulnerabilities how it is being shown, and then copy and use that thing. Okay, but make sure that you do a complete domain enumeration. See how firewalls rules are being set up. Use different recon tools. That is going to help you. Yeah, I have put the GitHub repositories. I did. Okay, I'll be posting it again. Just a minute. I'll be posting the GitHub repositories again if I have to. This is the third one that I'm generally following right now because this is a good research that have been done. So these three are the ones. So that's all from my end. If you have any question, any query, anything as such, then I'm telling you, you can connect with me at beacons.ai or topmate.ai. Anything as such, you can connect with me. You can book one-on-one call for 10 minutes. It's absolutely free. If you need guidance, anything as such, it is paid for sure because I'm putting my efforts in it. But at the end, it's always going to be fruitful for you. Other than that, everything, again, telling you everything available in this world to learn is free. The only thing is, are you that much passionate to research about it? That's all. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Hack the Box Kerala, for inviting me. Uh, I rest my words now because I have talked a lot. I think so. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ashik, for inviting me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for this. Yeah, thank you.